Hi, I'm James Arney. I'm here today to introduce a project I've been working on called Ossia Voice, which is an open source accessibility tool available to everyone at ossiavoice.com. There are many people living around the world today with conditions such as MND and ALS who are dependent on accessibility tools to communicate with their friends, families, and loved ones. Unfortunately, these accessibility tools require the user to build up sentences one letter at a time, and it can take many minutes to build just one response. In the age of AI and large language models, we know we can do much better than that. Ossia takes the technological leaps of the past few years and brings them to the people who need it most. It's able to take information about the environment, context of the conversation up until now, information it has about the user, and even the time of day to suggest whole sentences right out of the box, with the ability to tweak and modify those sentences to the user's unique personality. Let me show you how it works. As I'm showing you this, please do remember that Ossia is in beta and it's not quite ready to be used in a live situation. With that said, how does Ossia work? Ossia's improved capabilities come entirely from the idea of context. By listening to the conversation in the room, just as you do, Ossia is able to better understand the context of the conversation. The other people in the room can use the three controls in the top left, the microphone input, message input, and context input, to help guide Ossia's suggestions. How was your day today? Knowing that this is the topic of conversation, Ossia is able to provide full sentences on the right-hand side for the user to pick from, or keywords on the left-hand side to build up a sentence. But that in itself isn't quite enough. On the left-hand side, you'll see an option of listening to jazz. How do we know that for this user, that's a likely thing they might want to say? Well, when thinking about what you want to say, you take in much more context than just the conversation in the room. One of the many additional ways to add context is to provide information about yourself. Let me show you how to do that. By accessing the configuration menu, anyone helping set up Ossia is able to provide additional information about the user's backstory. You can see in this made-up example how we can input information about the user's family, age, hobbies and interests, and much more to make the predictions completely personalized to that user. With all of this set up, let's play out a conversation. When a user selects any of the suggestions, it is read out from the computer so that the other person can hear the response.
Aye, it's been a rough time for them.
We'll work on that Scottish accent. Even with all this great context, sometimes the sentence you want is not there. For this reason, Ossia also suggests a number of keywords that you can use to build up a sentence. This is still far quicker than typing and requires only a few clicks. Although I'm using a mouse pointer to interact with Ossia in this clip, accessibility features such as keyboard control and switch access will be coming to Ossia. Sometimes the suggestions are close, but just not quite right. In these cases, there's an edit menu to help you tweak the responses. You can change the politeness, the tense, the detail, or in this case, let's change the mood of the response. You can select one response, or all of them, and those responses will be tweaked in that way. The example chosen here is clearly very subjective, and is not designed to reflect my opinions. However, it does a great job of showing how Ossia does not limit a user to very generic measured responses, as with a lot of AI tools, but allows them to express their true personality. There's one thing we haven't talked about, beyond the user's backstory and the conversation history up until now, that allows Ossia to make better predictions on what you might want to say next. That is the current context. It includes what you might have done today, where you currently are, who you're talking to. We don't speak in the same way or say the same things to everyone we speak to. In this conversation, for example, we may change what our response is based on who we're talking to. From the user backstory, Ossia knows that Tim is the user's son, and he's only 5 years old. We should therefore change the likely responses based on this information. Alright, let's get back to our example. And I think that's enough about politics.
Did you catch the Six Nations this year?
Okay, one last example. What do I do if the sentence that I want to say is very specific? For example, supposing someone asks me what I want to read next. The answer is likely to be a specific book. But Ossia can't suggest every book in the world. Even if it knows you very well, it's unlikely to be able to guess. So the sentences on the right, although they cover a broad category of genres, are unlikely to be what you want to say. In this case, we still don't need to waste our time writing things like, I'm thinking of reading, or next on my list. Instead, we can think of the minimal number of words that we can use to let Ossia know what we're thinking, and type them in the hint box of the message panel, or in the right-hand message bar. Hitting the magic 1 button in this bar is a shortcut for the hint panel. I want to read Emma by Jane Austen next. Therefore, I could type Emma or Jane with only 4 letters each, but that's still a bit ambiguous, so I'll try Austen. No need to type all 3 though. Ossia will do the rest of the legwork.
I'm thinking of reading Jane Austen's Emma next.
Thanks very much for watching. I'm not quite sure what the next steps are for Ossia, but I'd be really keen to get your feedback. Also, as I mentioned, Ossia is entirely open source, and all the source code is available on github.com. So if you're an independent developer or a company and you have ideas for features or integrations, I'd be really keen for you to go and have a look and let me know. See you again soon, and having watched back some of the video, I will invest in a new microphone for next time. Sorry about that.